Welcome to my blush drawer. This is just a little too much for me. I have it here in these this Alex 5 drawer, I guess. And you can see, I'll show you kind of close up the organizer I have, but you can see that there's a lot even back here that I just can't reach for. You can see some right here that's just kind of thrown into a little thing. And I just can't handle this. Like, I'm a perfectionist and I like for things to be really organized, and honestly, if I can't see something and if it's not easy to get to, I'm not likely to use it. So a lot of those blush palettes in the back, my apologies, it's so loud. My kids are downstairs screaming and you can hear it coming up from the vents. I don't know if you can hear it, but I can hear it. So anyway, so I'm going to go through here and I will zoom you guys in so I can show you some of the ones that I'm thinking about getting rid of. And when I get rid of these, essentially I'll just pass them on to sisters or nieces because they always love getting these kind of things. So yeah, let's get into it and try to, I don't know, minimize this a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to pull out a few of these things just so I can reach in and show you what I have in here. So I got this blush organizer, and this is from the Cosmetic Archive, and it's so well made and they fit in there so nicely. Some of the thicker ones, like this the butter blush, is too thick to fit in the slots, but as you can see, I can fit. Some of these are doubled up in a slot, so the NARS blushes you can actually fit too. So anyway, I think it's about as well made as you can possibly get, and it fits these IKEA Alex drawers perfectly. I also have some up here, I don't know if you'll be able to see in, for my eyeshadows, my eyeliners, primers, foundations, that kind of thing. They work really well, so I'll link them down below. And if you haven't seen my full blush collection and swatch video, I will link that down below too if you'd like to go in here and get some swatches. I don't know that I'll swatch too many here, but maybe a few as I'm trying to decide what to get rid of. But go check that video out if you were into that kind of thing, which I totally am. Okay, so as I'm looking through here, I've got this really old Dior blush, and it is so beat up. I think I've put this in a declutter before and then pulled it back out to keep it because I like it. It is getting really old, but I'm not ready to let that go. Every once in a while I'll pull it out and actually use it, and I just love it. I have a Chanel blush in Jersey that I absolutely love. That is one of my favorites. I'm definitely hanging on to that. So the level of love that I have for these is what I want all of my blushes to be. And frankly, I just don't have that with this Lorac one. This is in the color Spectra. I feel like I use this quite a bit if it's just like, I don't know what to do, so I'll use it. It's just this really basic pink. It's like a mid-tone, kind of on the more cooler side pink. And I do really like it, but I find that there's other shades that I really like. So, for example, back here, this is what I want to minimize this for so I can actually reach these. I have this is the Urban Decay Gwen Stefani palette, and there's a pink right here that I love and never use because, frankly, I have this one to go to, and this one's easier to get to. So I'm actually just going to let this one go and give that to a sister that I know will love it, and it's still good. Like, I haven't had this one that long. They can still absolutely use this. And yeah, I'm definitely keeping this one. This was a gift from my husband, and I really love it. There's some highlight shades in it. I don't really use, but these two shades are absolutely beautiful, and I don't have anything like them, so I'm definitely keeping this one. Okay, on down the line, I have some MAC blushes. I don't use these all the time, but I do really like using them. I have some Tarte blushes up here. I'm wondering if I should zoom you in just a hair. There we go. I have Party and Ornate, and these I do like, and because they fit in there perfectly, I'm going to keep them. I do like this Party one better. I feel like this is a really good everyday blush, so I like having some of those. And I absolutely love my Clinique Peach Pop blush. One of my absolute favorites. So leaving that, I'm not going to declutter any of my, I don't think I am, no. Maybe, hang on, there may be one in here that I'm going to get rid of. Oh, there is a NARS blush that I'm getting rid of. And I love NARS blushes, but This one's Sin. That's probably my newest one. I love this one. I have Deep Throat, probably my favorite blush of all time. If you don't have this and you're fair-skinned, get this. It is so, so good. It's probably my #1 blush that I would recommend to people. Dolce Vita is a perfect wintertime blush. I love that with like a red lip. And then we get to this one, Bumpy Ride. And it's just not my favorite. It's just kind of it's like a coral peach pink color. But if I'm gonna do a color like that, I'm gonna reach for Deep Throat, which is just slightly, just a little bit, I don't know, maybe more pink rose than this one. And the main reason that I would even get rid of this one is, one, I forget about it, I don't reach for it. But two, I think this would look so pretty on my niece. And so I'm gonna pass that on to her. And then the last one that I have in here is Amore, which is like a darker rosy pink. And I think that one's just really, really pretty in the wintertime. So we'll see. I don't know, maybe we'll be able to give each one, oh, we can, kind of its own spot. This one I'll move over here. I'm definitely keeping this one. This is Charlotte Tilbury in Love Glow. I love the packaging. I love Charlotte Tilbury products. This one started out as one that wasn't my favorite, but I've come to really like it. It does give you a really, I don't know if you can really tell, a really good sheen. And I don't always love really glowy products, but I do like that one. Okay, this guy. So this is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Blush Trio in Pink Passion. And it's pretty. It's got your bright cool tones. It's got more of your like rosy pink. And then one that is just a little more neutral, I think. Has a little bit of, I don't know, maybe a little bit of purple in there. I don't know. I'm really bad at describing these. But I rarely ever reach for this. I think the packaging's really pretty. I love this idea for a blush palette, having it just be like a little trio. But again, if I want like a blue toned blush, I would rather reach for this guy. This one's a little dark. It's not one I'm gonna reach for every day. And it's just kind of meh. Like it's great, and I've always loved wearing this, but I think I have another sister that would actually really, really like this, and this would be something that she'd probably reach for a lot more than me, so I'm gonna let that go. Okay, this Milani one, this is in Awakening Rose. It is so pretty. I love it. It's one of my favorite ones. We definitely want to keep that one. This one I just got. This is, it came in an Ipsy. This is the Ofra by Madison Miller in All You Need Is Love. And it is like a true like peach, like an orange shade. So, and it does have a little bit of shimmer in there. I did really, really like this whenever I tried it. I don't have anything exactly like it. I feel like my MAC Autoerotic is close to it, but this one's like true, like more of a peach and not an orange. So I think I'm gonna keep that one for now, but eventually we'll see if that goes maybe in the next year or two, but for now it's staying. Okay, on to this row. We start to get into some highlighters that are back here. I've got some doubled up here because they're smaller, so they both fit in. This one is a Becca. It's a little guy, which I don't really need a big blush because I never go through them. But this is in Camellia, and this is another like cool toned pink that I would love to reach for more often. So I do really like this one, so I'm going to hang on to that. I'll put that guy right there. And then I have this NYX blush, one of my favorite blushes of all time, and it is starting to get old. In fact, I'm thinking if I don't go through this one this year, it's just gonna have to be pitched. This is in Mauve, and I just love it so much. So yeah, there's that one. And then another pink one. I have so many pink blushes, and I felt that I was always reaching for this Lorac one that I didn't even really love just because it stood out to me. Like it just was easy to reach for. This one, look how bright that is. That is a bright pink, but I really like it. It's Laura Mercier in Lotus Pink. So definitely keeping that one. Maybe this NARS guy I'll move over so that all the little NARS guys can be together. I am keeping this one. This one's in Gulu, which is another one that is a little more like purpley pink, and it's a darker shade. Really pretty for the fall. So maybe we will move these guys back some, and this one will have its own little spot right there. So I don't know if you can see it, but all the little NARS guys are together. I'm such a dork, and I'm okay with that. Next one, love this one. I think they still sell this and it's a really good deal. It's like $22. It's by Makeup Forever and it comes with a highlight and a blush. I don't use the highlight hardly at all. It's more gold. I could, I just haven't. But I love, love, love this blush. I don't know what number it is. You can't really tell. I guess I could pop it out, but it's just a really pretty cherry rose, kind of darker blush, but it works for me and I'm super fair. So love that one. I reach for that quite a bit. And then love this one too. I don't think you can get it anymore, but it's Too Faced Love Flush and Love Hangover. And it's just a color that I think works really well on my skin tone. I think these like cherry type shades work really well. Okay, this one we are passing on. This is Urban Decay Afterglow in Fetish. I've had this one for a long time. I've actually bought it for other people. I think it's a really good, like, cool toned plum shade, but it's not my favorite. Like, I don't have, like, a deep desire to wear it, or I don't think it's one that I'll really miss. And I, frankly, when I wear NARS Sin, where is that? I'll show you the two together. I like this better on my skin whenever I see it, but anytime I need a tone like that, I find that I reach for this one, but I don't love it as much on my cheeks. So I'm gonna keep the NARS Sin and then pass this one on, but it is a really good blush. I don't think they sell this one anymore, but I'm gonna give this to a sister because it is really pretty. It doesn't make me super happy to use it, and I want all of these to be ones that I just really enjoy using. And then a few highlighters that I have Mary Luminizer. Love this one. I'm gonna hang on to that. And then I have Becca Champagne Pop, which is another one that I love so much. I think it looks really good on me, so I'm gonna keep that. And yeah, so we have one spot open. Maybe we'll see if there's something else that can go here, or maybe we can spread these out so that there aren't any that are doubled up. Well, I guess over here there's some over here, but that's okay. Okay, I zoomed you in so you can see this container right here. It has a whole bunch of random stuff that I need to figure out what to do with. So I have this butter blush from Physicians Formula in Vintage Rouge. I do really like it. In fact, I'm wearing it today. It's just a basic light rose color, but I feel like it looks really good on the cheeks. Honestly, if I didn't really like the formula and the smell so much of this, I would get rid of this because the packaging is too thick to fit in here and that really bothers me. So I'm going to keep that one. Okay, so this is a Wet n Wild highlighting powder in Precious Petals. Everybody talks about this. It is really pretty. I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to keep this one. I'm going to set that off to the side because I may pass this one on. I'm not sure. Let me think about this once I see what all I end up keeping. And a lot of these are highlighters, by the way. This is one that I got in an Ipsy bag. This is IBY in Private Jet. I was honestly thinking that this is one I would get rid of. Yeah, it's got glitter in it. Yeah, not a fan of the glitter, and yeah, I don't find that I really reach for it. It is in small packaging, and it's pretty. It's a pretty little package, but I think I've got a niece that would wear that, so I'm going to pass that on to her. Okay, I've been trying to go through this for years. It just needs to go. This is the Becca Shimmering Skin Perfector in Opal, and I've had this for a few years. It is a liquid product. So I need to let this one go. I have to force myself to use it, and I'd rather just work on the ones that I have that I absolutely love. I actually do I have an Opal? I do. I have the pressed Opal, so I will keep this pressed Opal. I actually used it today, so I'm going to hang on to this and let this one go. And then I have my powders in here too. These are powders that when I have my everyday makeup drawer, and then these are extra powders, so I just leave them in here. But I have two Laura Mercier translucent powders, and then this baby Charlotte Tilbury. This is the Airbrush Flawless Finish. This little baby guy, it's so cute. So I'm going to keep these, and I'll keep them in here, but we'll see how I organize it once I get done. Okay, these guys. I always forget about them because they're in here, and I never use them. And honestly, this Burberry Fresh Glow one, I've always wanted to use. In my head, I always think, oh, I'll use that to put on like my collarbones and shoulders and things when I'm wearing sleeveless tops in the summer, and I just never do because I forget about it. So I'm I'm going to move that one up here and try to use it. This one's beautiful. It's the Cover FX Custom Enhancer Drops in Moonlight, and they are liquid, but they are so stunning, but I just forget to use them, and I really want to use that. I mean, it is so pretty, so I'm definitely going to hang on to that. Maybe I'll wear it a lot more this holiday season because that is stunning. Okay, so I have a little container that I can put some things back in here once I figure out all I want to let go of. This is the California blush by Benefit, and it's the only one I have of these box blushes, and it's this really pretty peachy pink. Honestly, it's pretty close to my Clinique Peach Pop, and even maybe as close to like Deep Throat, but I don't know, I feel like it's a little brighter. Yeah, it definitely is. And I like it, so I'm going to keep it. I love the packaging to it. So yeah, I'm definitely going to keep this one. I bought the full size of this, which is not a cheap thing, like a week before they came out with the little mini of this, which I would have preferred, but alas, I have this guy and I'm just going to keep it. Okay, there were a few other palettes that were stuffed back here that I pulled out earlier just so I could reach back here. One of them is this Tarte, and it's the Color Wheel. This was their holiday blush palette from like 2 years ago, I think. And it has 8 blushes and 2 highlights. I do travel with this. I really like it. I feel like these shades are all so very similar, but I do really like this, and I use this. I'd like to use it more, so I feel like if maybe this guy is moved up closer to here so I can easily reach it, I will use it more. So I'm gonna hang on to that one. This one I loved, and I really don't want to get rid of it, but it's gotten so old. It's the Tarte Showstopper palette, and this is what it looks like. I love this thing so much. In fact, I loved it so much that I found that I wouldn't reach for it because I'd want to like save it, which is the dumbest thing ever. I used to do that a lot, and I don't want to do that anymore because things go bad. Like, look how much product is left in here that I could have really enjoyed, and I never did. I always felt that this light brown transition color was gorgeous. I would use these two all the time because they were just such a simple look. And I travel with this a lot because you've got your bronzer, which I think is Park Avenue Princess, and then this really pretty, more like orange type blush, which I don't feel like ever really went with these other shades. They're a little more cool toned and purple. Like, I would never pair this blush with these, but it was okay using it with these two. So anyway, I'm really bummed about not using this anymore, but I look at it and I'm like, it's too old. It's too old, and I don't really want to put that on my face, but I just love it so much. But it's gonna need to go. But I wish they'd bring this format back because I do really like these. Definitely keeping this guy. This is the Naked Flushed palette. I love it. I think that color, this blush color, is one of the best colors on my skin. I wore it on Thanksgiving. In fact, I took it with me when we traveled for Thanksgiving, and that's all I wore. The highlight's really pretty, and I can even use that bronzer. It looks a little warm, but I can use it. Love, love, love this thing. If you have my type of skin tone, go get it. It's well worth it. It's just such a good palette. If they sell it anymore, gosh, I think they do. But anyway, really like that one. Okay, this one actually in the drawer always sat on top of this one, so I often didn't see it. And I got this one maybe a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago, when Sleek came to Ulta. This is the Blush by 3 palette in Rekindling, and I just don't find that I ever reach for that. This shade is a little too dark, and it intimidates me a little bit. I have to use a very light hand. This one is actually a cream blush, and then this one is a really sheer, very shimmery. So what I would do is put this cream blush down and then use this as a topper, and it would almost look like a high impact NARS Orgasm. Like, that's what it would look like. Not as shimmery, but with a little more pigment than NARS Orgasm. And I really like that, but I find that I just don't use this, and honestly, it doesn't excite me too much to use it. So I think I'm going to pass this on to a sister that will use it more and be like, listen, maybe just use it for the next year and then get rid of it because it's starting to get old. But I did really like it, and whenever I don't put my fingers in these, I use a brush, so I don't feel too bad about passing that on to a sister. Okay, back here I have just a few bronzers, and I don't know if I want to keep these in my drawer because honestly these are the only bronzers I really have in like single form, so I think I'm going to move them to my everyday makeup drawer. So this one's the number 7 bronzer in Maple, and it's great for fair ladies, and so I do really like that, and it's not expensive, not super expensive. And then the Butter bronzer, and this is the light bronzer. It's perfect for my skin tone. I use this one more than any others, and I don't use bronzer every day, but when I do, I really don't need that many. So I think these two would suit my needs. I do have a few others, I think, in here. We'll talk about them in just a minute. This is the Lorac Beauty and the Beast palette. I really like this, and I do find that I go through spells where I like want to reach for it all the time, and then others where I don't. And this is one that I think I would use more often if I didn't have the Urban Decay or the Lorac ones, because they are very similar. But I think they're really pretty. Now this gold highlight I don't use, but these other ones are really pretty. So I'm going to hang on to that one, and Beauty and the Beast is one of my favorite Disney movies, and this packaging is beautiful, so I'm going to hang on to this one. Okay, this is one of the oldest palettes I have. This is the Tarte Bling It On. I think this one came out like 4 years ago, 5 years ago, something like that. And it has all these shades in it. And I just don't reach for it anymore because it's just getting old, and I realized that. I really loved Doll Face, which I could buy a single of that if I wanted to. Tarte still sells that. This is just a basic everyday blush that I would wear. This one's really pretty, but it's very similar to, say, my the Naked one. Yeah, it's pretty similar, so I don't feel like I really need this one anymore, and it's just getting old. So this is not one that I'm going to pass on. It's actually one that I'm going to get rid of. But it was a really good travel palette, and I feel like I used it quite a bit. So, and the packaging's really pretty too. It makes me sad to get rid of this one, but yeah, it's just, it needs to go. I'm not reaching for it anymore. Okay, this is one of the newer blush products that I have in my collection. I got this on like super sale. It was like $10, free shipping. It was from HSN. This is the Lorac, I think this was their holiday palette last year. This is the Shine Bright Color Source and Light Source Cheek palette. This is too pigmented for me. So you can see the shades there. You have a highlight, more of a like a blush topper, and then 4 shades. And they're just really too pigmented for my liking. I just feel like they're just too much. Like they don't blend out as well as I'd like to. I like to be able to build blush up, and it's just hard to build this up. Like as soon as I put it on, it's just pretty intense. So I think this needs to go to somebody with a different skin tone than me, somebody with a little bit deeper skin tone. So I'm gonna pass it on. It's beautiful, but yeah, I just never want to reach for it because, yeah, it just doesn't perform great for me. Okay, last thing in this palette is a hodgepodge. It's an AZ palette, and it's so big and bulky and just sits back there, and I don't use it as much as I would. Now, here's the thing. There are some shades in here that I want to keep. Sorry, you're able to see everything in that reflection. Let me open this up. These are Makeup Geek blushes and bronzers, and I do really like this bronzer here. These are both for like the fair girls, and there are a few shades here that I like, but I just feel like there's so much duplication. And then these are little blush samples that I got in an old So Schwa box that I do really like, so I'm probably going to keep those. But I need to figure out what I want to keep and what I want to get rid of, and yeah, give me just a second. A sneak peek into my eyeshadow drawer. I am going to do a full inventory and collection video, so this is just a little sneak peek. I do keep empty palettes in here, so I'm going to get a few of them out because I'm going to transfer some. So I do have this empty Makeup Geek palette that it's like their travel vault or something like that I do use when I travel, but I pulled out the blushes that I want to keep. So I made my own little mini palette. So I kept the Contour Color and Breakup. It's like their cool porcelain one. I did keep this really light, cool toned pink, and this one's in Head Over Heels. That's always been my favorite one. And then this like more neutral one in Cherish, and then this brighter, more coral one in Main Squeeze. So I feel like that's, if I want pink, neutral, or orange, I've got it here. So that's like the perfect travel palette and so much smaller. So I'm gonna hang on to that one. And then I thought I would pass this on to a sister, and I wanted to have a little something that would fit. I was hoping more would fit in here, but I may pass on a few eyeshadows too eventually, but this is the shade in Blind Date, and then this is the other bronzer in Love Triangle. This is the warm porcelain shade. So I think somebody would like to have that as like a little travel thing. And my sisters don't do Z palettes, like they don't really know about them, so this might be a nice little introduction. And they've got this little mini Z palette that if they wanted to buy a few shades they could put in there. So I'll pass that on so that they've got this. It's really hard to pass on things that are magnetic, because if somebody doesn't have it, what are they going to do with it? And then I may get another little mini Z palette or something and give to somebody, although this one in Spellbound, it's one of my oldest ones from Makeup Geek, it's starting to look really like, what are those dot things? None of the other ones are doing that, but I think this one just needs to be thrown away. Whereas this one looks fine. Like, you can tell I've used it a little bit. This one's like a lilac, like bluish toned pink, so I can find somebody that'll use that. And then these little sample guys, I'm just going to make a point to use them up, and then that way I can use this C palette for something else and it's not so bulky, because in my blush drawer it's just not likely to be used. Okay, we know what we're keeping, so let me reorganize this. So there is the entire collection. There's nothing stacked on each other. Most everything has its own little compartment. The only thing that's really kind of tucked back here is are my powders, but those are extra, and a lot of times I only use those when I travel, so that's okay. So everything is a single layer, and I can just very quickly look and see what I have. So, so yeah, I kept my highlighting products all here together, these little guys you can still see. And then yeah, there's still some that are doubled up. These two here are, and then my two Tarte ones are, but other than that, yeah, everything has its own little area, which is really nice. So yeah, that looks so much better to me, and I will show you guys the pile of the things I'm getting rid of too, just so you can see how much we got rid of. Okay, and these are the guys that will be leaving. None of these are going back in that blush drawer. I will eventually use these two, but I'm gonna set those probably in my everyday makeup drawer so that I can focus on using those two up and then find a solution for those. But yeah, that's what I'm getting rid of. I feel pretty good about that, and I feel really good about that.